in South Africa's group for a Rugby World Cup. I think it's Scotland, Ireland. Who the other two? Does
Oh,
any of you know?
okay, that's true. Some F-15 EXs are in Poland now. Spicy.
You want to know when you would really know things are about to go bad?
What?
Wow, how?
F-22s would be in Poland.
They already are. They've been in Poland for ages. They've been in it since like the start of this whole war shit, mate.
Oh wait, no,
Really
sorry.
had a
The
game.
F-15s are the ground attack aircraft.
Yeah, the EX variants, yes.
Because the F-22s are just going to make mincemeat out of everything that flies
Yeah.
above 50 feet.
I mean,
Good question.
the
Isn't-
seaplanes are quite good. Well, we don't know about the C-57. That shit's
Su-57s are dog shit.
Have you seen the C-75?
really are.
Have you seen the C-75? Those idiots.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't send over like the brand new Special Forces Super Tucanos.
Oh, the fucking crop dusters.
The turboprops, yeah.
I love how it literally is just an armored, weaponized crop duster.
Basically.
Hi guys.
Can somebody show a picture? I'm actually interested in how it looks. I know what the crop
Let
duster is,
me,
but
let me see if I can dig it up.
Oh, I know it.
Okay. So it looks like this is the crew we have for today.
I just
Not
know
too much. I'll have to work on timing in the future.
Donnie, I am recording so I can post it in unit chat.
Wonderful. So, as we all know, we are currently on our way to Syria. What we have here going on, in recent developments, we've had 2 incidents between the SDF and ISIS. The first one on the right is an increase in IEDs used against convoys that the SDF is operating with. These IEDs have also expanded into building attacks here on the left with an IED threat at a mosque. Now, for these, they're mostly due to this man here, Mulman al-Khalif. He's a head IED specialist for ISIS that's recently been operating in the Syria area. He is the main target of this operation. However, he will mostly be being searched by these dudes. This is AFO Panther from the U.S. Navy. What we are doing is operating as a QRF for Panther while they operate in Syria. So we will be supporting them, drawing enemies away, and every other sort of messing with ISIS while also trying to protect the SDF. If that is simple enough. Now what we have here is a map of where we are operating. So this is the entire area. It's roughly about a 10 by 10 search area that we're working with. We will be based out of Land Airfield to the east. As you guys can clearly see, it is a somewhat mixture of desert along with wooded areas, along with some built up more urban areas. So with that, we go into questions. Yes.
So during this deployment, we will be working with the Syrian forces.
We will be working with the SDF, which is essentially the Syrian military.
So we see black uniforms, we shoot.
For the most part, yes. The SDF, as you can see, will be wearing uniforms similar to this. They will be using like a tan Russian era type, well, it's Russian type vehicle.
Before we say we start shooting anyone we see, remember we have a set ROE, and the ROE for the whole deployment is do not fire unless fired upon.
I was just making it clear that the guys in the black garbs were primary targets.
civilians can also wear black as well, but I don't. You could PID them as hostile. How about that?
That is fair.
Most SDF units are also seen wearing these square-type backpacks on their back. And it seems to be just your normal troops along with the medic over here. The medics will have a white patch on their gear. But as... Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Are we gonna have to worry about bags or anything in the
It is unknown at this time.
That's
Most of the time, ISIS will tend to operate with their black uniforms, especially if they're working in larger groups, as to not confuse each other.
How well equipped are these guys?
So, we have had a recent development within the past 24 hours where a SCF armory, essentially on one of their own depots within country, was recently hit. With that, we have lost, well, they have now acquired some IGLAs, some stationary weapons such as M2s, and I believe maybe a couple Western weapons, but we're unsure of what types they had.
Any mobility augments? So they just use the regular technicals and anything like that?
As far as we know, ISIS is currently operating with their standard equipment of usually a variation of a technical or Russian-type vehicle with their painted flags on them. So you'll usually be able to identify their vehicles pretty easily. It'll have, usually it's a big black box, either on the side or on the hood, and it has their, forgetting the word for it, the inscriptions that they have for their flag. Which should, if I am correct, should look like this.
If we are to see that a full-fledged positive PID, or
As far as I'm aware, but we should always be cognizant of the targets.
I don't think they're gonna be rocking that shit like we do with the fucking Gadsden flag or anything.
No. Keep in mind, VIDs in the area will probably not have those markings. We've also seen, at least in the past in Afghanistan, I guess what you could say would be a insurgent tank, which are the heavily armored technicals that are running the half-inch steel plates.
How long have they been in operation in the area? Have they had time to build up or establish any strongholds?
As far as we know, well, in terms of them being in the area, this is kind of where ISIS has originated here in Syria.
So they're pretty well embedded then.
Correct. Most of the time they will be habitating within local towns, usually operating out of safe houses. Of course, we do have other intelligence operatives on the ground from other units that are looking into more details.
are we gonna have to worry about Russian forces in the area, given that they've started mobilizing in the area?
As far as I know, no. We will be operating more in the eastern side of Syria, which should keep us relatively distanced from the Russians.
What kind of adjacent support are we going in with?
The main support that we have is of course 18 CSG, as the fact that the entirety of Task Force 151 is deploying, along with some naval assets, with the fact that you do have a SEAL team deploying to the location. However, they aren't bringing too much. They might have 1 or 2 fighters that are operating in the area, along with some aerial support, but most of it's going to be us.
What operation will we be conducting on the day we arrive?
Well, mainly we will be supporting the Navy team as they operate. So either QRF if they come under fire, possible distraction missions that we will be utilizing to draw enemies away from a given location. There is already talk in the command channels about something similar to that, where we will be essentially causing a distraction as they hit a main building. But it's unknown at this time. That'll have to be briefed tomorrow.
I noticed in the picture with the Reapers, you got it as well. How we can worry about.
Negative. From what we've understood with these are mainly seen in the Egyptian areas. They're quite uncommon just due to the fact that the drones themselves are relatively hard to get in their country. As for everything else you see here, from what we've identified, you have your standard demolition blocks, a couple improvised EETNs, even a couple IEDs, along with satchel charges of various different types.
We have an expected course of action once we start operating.
Not as far as I'm aware at this time. The main thing is we are basically at the mercy of these guys up here. Mostly this guy here in the center.
Course of action.
Huh? Say it again.
I meant enemy course of action. Like once we kick off, what's their likely expected response?
Main thing that they're probably going to resort to, as far as we are aware, per standard ISIS operations, is guerrilla hit and run, IED type tactics. Same type of stuff that they've used against us for years, along with what we've seen in Afghanistan. So it'll be probably middle of nowhere. You'll find an IED, get hit. Who knows? As far as we do know, there is no aircraft, of course, that they are utilizing. So that's a benefit. I'm not sure.
Likely if we're sitting around.
Yeah, we just go around more likely.
So there's been some discussions of how we're going to be utilized a little bit more rather than just sitting at base. Looking at patrols, exterior security, things like that for their ops. As far as I know, they're already in country. We should be getting there tomorrow morning. So they're already setting up and gearing up for their nonsense and shenanigans.
Not base, but it'll be looking like.
So, one thing, and this is unconfirmed reports, that there may be some insiders within the SDF, which are the guys in the camouflage. So,
Question.
there,
Will
yeah.
will there be SCF special operators that we will work with? Even like our SEALs, for example, or us.
The SEALs may work with some SCF special ops teams, but we probably won't be touching that much at all.
Okay.
What's our base gonna be looking like?
So our base, I'll go back up to our map here. This is our airfield that we're going to be stationed at.
That's
So
cozy.
we do have radar capabilities, so we shouldn't have to worry if there is any enemy aircraft. We shouldn't have to worry about it. And for the most part, we are isolated with one small town, which is Landay. and looks like about 3 routes that even come relatively close to us or go to us directly. Yeah.
What about the Syria? Their ally.
Correct.
The SCF is currently handling there is a local faction fighting against Syria. Are we expecting to fight the Syrian?
We have not seen too much operation within for the rebels in the area. It seems ISIS mainly has their control here. However, it is possible for us to see some rebel activity in the area. As far as I know, with these rebels, they are not necessarily combative towards us, but they are combative towards the SCF. So I'm not sure how that's going to play into effect with us.
The SCF is a rebel faction fighting against the Syrian government, which is hostile against the United States. So will we be fighting the Syrian?
We shouldn't see them in our area now.
Oh.
It's possible. Is it possible could be doing aid with like some different transport slides and whatnot? That's possible.
We'll have to see. Again, our main prerogative is QRF.
Yeah.
Okay, unrelated question.
Go ahead.
No, no.
I was just gonna ask how close to the border we are.
We should be looking more towards the, I believe it's southeastern region of Syria.
What's Iraq?
Leave, so my geography is kind of fucked up.
What's the Iraq's due east of Syria?
Iraq is U.S. territory, which would make more sense. It's east.
God damn! All those civilians didn't die in the Iraq War just so you could forget where it's at.
Yes, it is.
Surprisingly, not many civilians died.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
ours.
we will be on the Iraqi side of it.
What's the likelihood of these guys pulling potential reinforcements over the border?
Unsure. That's the one thing that ISIS has been somewhat been able to specialize is getting their logistics somewhat in check. One of the things that we do have to be cautious of, especially in this region, there has been a higher organization, you could say, to the ISIS forces, meaning that they're operating more like a military and less like a rebel force, specifically in this area. There's already some intel channels that are going on a little bit of a tangent about some other higher up that may be in the area. And I've been trying to pester the Navy to see if they already know about it or not, but they're kind of giving me the cold shoulder, telling me to worry about what we need to worry about. So,
Because of the seals. I think they're
Fucking
better.
Medcom, man.
I fuck around with the seals to go in, get spotted by a goat farmer, and fucking die.
Yeah.
so because though it is probably coming to some of your guys' questions, I've already looked into this dude, and his head is already plastered on a highway somewhere in the Middle East. So,
Literally.
Poor guy.
I want his
So we are-
aliens on my desk.
so we are looking into that, but I don't really have much to pass on in terms of why they're operating more militarily.
Is it possible they're going to attack our base and follow our base?
I would be calling some mortars. If we do get a mortar attack, it will come out over the net, at which point just get under something solid. But we shouldn't see it too much. Again, we have a pretty decent buffer zone between us.
Bunkers are for pussies. You just pop a beer and watch the fucking sea rams do their job.
You had a mod for C-RAM. Not on the
sorry.
server right now.
Donnie?
Yes.
Okay, this is not related to the mission. I just wanted to ask, is your profile picture perhaps a Wendigo?
It is, yes.
Okay, no more apologies.
The little yes.
All I
I've been
know
studying
is
this
it's a fucking career aspiration to end up on an ISIS wanted poster.
Okay, are we gonna make bets who's gonna end up there first?
Me, like fucking anyone that will be in Bravo knows how trigger happy I will make people.
It's probably gonna be dominated for the wanted posters.
I want to be on
Yeah, it'll be me.
I want to be on one. That would be funny as fuck.
That will get you some mad street cred.
My face does make it outside the fucking gate much.
Like,
I want that man's glasses.
you really want them, don't you?
Well, they're probably broken somewhere on a fucking Egyptian highway.
I need his glasses.
I don't even know who he pissed off.
Who, this guy?
No.
The guy with the red
Maybe.
turban.
Well, why are they so pissed
Islamic
at us always?
Superman.
He does actually look like Miles. Okay.
But he's Islamic.
That's racist. You're racist.
What did you say, mate?
Okay, no. Look in. Okay. Don't you? Open that picture up again that we can see that guy. Let me just show them. Okay, zoom into that guy, please. Okay. Take the beard away. You see what I mean? It looks like he opened his mask.
What?
Like all the Spider-Man dudes. Have none of you watched the movie?
I know, but if you...
I don't remember seeing this episode of Into the Spider-Verse.
There's an alternate universe where fucking Spider-Man's part of fucking ISIS and he's
Fucking ISIS.
Okay, well,
ISIS Spider-Man.
there's a T-Rex Spider-Man, there's a dog Spider-Man, and there's a monkey Spider-Man. So I don't think that that's too out of the way.
yeah, imagine that just like he's swinging around with a fucking RPG in his shoulder.
Well, he could be like that.
Spider-Man.
So, is there any further questions regarding our upcoming operations?
No, sir.
I'll probably think of a few more after the fucking briefing is over. Only me.
Anything from the lieutenant or the first sergeant?
So that apparently you came afraid.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, Cheetah, anything from you?
Not really.
Okay. With that, I would say that this is concluded. Without any further questions, we will depart.
Okay, see you tomorrow.